Let me take you back to a time when I was struggling financially. I was barely making enough to cover my rent, and the stress was overwhelming. On top of that, my wife was buried in credit card debt. Not because of poor choices, but because we were struggling just to pay for groceries and basic bills. It was a tough spot, and it seemed like there was no way out. But then, I discovered three surprising ways to build wealth, to attract more money into our lives, and they completely changed our reality. Today, I want to share those life-altering methods with you, and I'm excited for you to hear them. Now, before we dive into the most powerful of these steps, which happens to be number 2, let me say this. The first step is absolutely crucial. You must make a firm decision. Understand that you live in a universe of constant expansion, one that is infinite by nature. Every night, when I look out at the stars in Maui, it's as if they go on forever. If we had a high-tech rocket ship that could transport us to the farthest reaches of space in 2 minutes, we'd still see endless stars, and then more again. The universe is about expansion, not contraction. And here's the exciting part. You are an integral part of this expansive universe. You are one with this endless energy. This means that your birthright, yes, your divine right, is to expand, to grow, and to thrive. The universe doesn't want you to shrink. It wants you to soar. In fact, we're living in a time where the global economy is constantly growing. There's so much money circulating in the world that sometimes it even becomes a problem. The financial system keeps printing money, so much, in fact, that's almost flooding the market. But this is a good thing because it means there's no shortage of resources and there's no limit to how much wealth you can attract. Money is not a zero-sum game. You can't run out of it just because the more money you have, support your friends, and even give back to charity. When you grow financially, you become a source of good for others. But here's the issue. Many people stand at the crossroads of opportunity and simply freeze. They don't believe they can ever change their financial situation. How many people do you know who think they'll always be in debt, whether it's student loans, credit card bills, or whatever else? They feel trapped in a cycle, and they don't think it will ever get better. I've met so many people who truly believe they'll be in this struggle forever. But here's the truth. Once you believe you're stuck, you're already defeated. You've lost the game before you even played. Jim Rohn wisely said, "What's easy to do is easy not to do." Comment that down below. What's easy to do is easy not to do. It's easy to make a decision, to simply say, I'm going to be wealthy. I am destined for financial freedom. It's easy to choose to believe that wealth is on its way to you. But it's also easy not to do it. Why? Because you're fighting against years, maybe even decades, of conditioning. Your family, society, the media, and even your own fears have told you that wealth is for the lucky few, the ones who went to Ivy League schools or have connections. But none of that matters. The universe wants you to have money. It is built for growth, and that includes your financial growth. The energy of abundance is everywhere around you. Money is energy, just like everything else in the universe. And the universe is constantly expanding. Therefore, it's your birthright to experience wealth, success, and all the things you desire in life, not just for the sake of comfort, but for your soul's evolution. So today, I want you to understand this. It is your birthright to be rich. Don't let anyone or anything tell you otherwise. Your future is unlimited. Claim it. Step into your expansion. Comment below. It is my birthright to be rich. It is your birthright to be rich. Declare it. Type that out below. It is my birthright to be rich. Believe it, own it, and affirm that abundance is meant for you. The first step to financial freedom is recognizing that wealth is not a distant dream, but something that is inherently yours to claim. Let me tell you about a breakthrough moment that changed everything for me. I used to think that the only way to make money was to trade my time for it. I had one income stream at the time, being a motivational speaker, traveling around speaking to thousands of students. I'd earn a few $100s per hour, but the income was seasonal, unpredictable, and limited. I quickly realized that relying on one source of income was not sustainable. Wealthy individuals, the millionaires, billionaires, and financial freedom achievers, they all have multiple streams of income. Money flows to them in ways that don't directly depend on their time or effort. That's when I realized the key. The wealthiest people don't work for money. They have systems and investments that generate money for them, even while they sleep. So, I shifted my approach. I began to diversify my income. I grabbed a piece of paper, wrote multiple sources of income at the top, and brainstormed. I took some time to get in the right mindset, using my success hypnosis to tap into that creative flow. You could try it too. It's free and linked below. And then I just let my ideas flow. Some were wild, some were simple, but the key was to think in terms of abundance and scale. The result? It opened up a whole new world of opportunities. One idea may seem small, but it can be the seed for something bigger. The exercise helped me move beyond the mindset of working for a paycheck to thinking about creating systems that earn money for me without direct effort or time commitment. I want you to try this. Take out a piece of paper and write down multiple sources of income. Don't judge your ideas. Let them flow. Even the craziest idea could spark something that leads to your financial breakthrough. It's about expanding your mind to see all the ways wealth can enter your life. The next step is to live as though you've already achieved that financial success. What would you do differently if you were a millionaire? Would you be reading books on finance, investing, and wealth? Would you be taking actions that reflect your new mindset? Most people say they want money, but continue to behave exactly as they did before. To truly create wealth, you have to think, act, and live like someone who already has it. So, start acting in alignment with the wealth you want to attract. Be intentional, creative, and open to opportunities. Your birthright is abundance, and by shifting your mindset, you open the door to the unlimited possibilities that await you. To truly transform your life, you have to be willing to become a different person. So, let me ask you, how would your thoughts change if you were that new version of yourself? What kind of books would you read? What shows would you watch? How would you spend your weekends? More importantly, who would you surround yourself with? When you start thinking about who you need to become and shift your perspective on life, something powerful happens. Your reality begins to change. As Wayne Dyer once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This isn't just about wishful thinking. It's about actively changing your mindset, your habits, and your environment. Let's break it down. I'll tell you what worked for me. I began by reading one book about wealth every week. Up until then, I had never read a single book on money. I was immersed in spirituality, meditation, neuroscience, metaphysics, all of these wonderful concepts. But when it came to money, I realized I was completely clueless. No wonder my spiritual life was flourishing, but my financial reality was a mess. So, I decided to apply the same focus I had on spirituality to wealth building. I started watching YouTube videos about finances and business. I picked up books on money and how to build it. Slowly but surely, I started challenging my own way of thinking. I began surrounding myself with people who were making things happen financially. What happened next? I began to change not just my habits, but my entire identity. And as I changed, I started attracting new opportunities into my life that I never even imagined were possible. The people I met, the opportunities that presented themselves, it was all a result of me shifting my mindset and my approach to life. So here's what I invite you to do. Pick one or two of these strategies and implement them into your life for the next 30 days. You don't have to commit forever. Just give it a shot and see how you feel. Don't just sit there and watch videos or read articles and think, this is all nonsense. Instead, suspend your disbelief. Think about it. When you go to the movies, you don't sit there questioning the plot or saying, this is all fake. You suspend your disbelief and allow yourself to get immersed in the story. Well, to change your life and your financial situation, you need to do the same thing. Suspend your disbelief about what's possible for you and open yourself to trying new things. Test the waters. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve when you take the first step and trust the process. And here's a bonus tip. All the wealthiest people in the world have one thing in common. they think differently about money. And the good news is, you can reprogram your mind to think like they do. The tools and resources are right at your fingertips. All you need to do is take action and start shifting your perspective. So, take the leap, suspend your disbelief, and start changing your life today.